Okay, now, before we do the sitting, this is something we talk about in the past. We talk about almost every time, is that from the Chinese perspective, for thousands of years, health is about maintaining harmony between what's called the yin and the yang. Now, yang means the sun. Yin means the absence of the sun. Okay, so when the sun comes out, it dominates. And when the sun is set, then the yin energy dominates, and the yin energy actually comes into 5 forms. The metal, the water, the earth, the vegetation, and the mineral. And they actually corresponds to 5 energy lines. In this case, actually 6, because the fire splits into 2, the heart splits into 2, both the mental part and the physical part. But that's besides the point. And it corresponds to the energy in us, the life energy in us, okay? So it's very important to maintain that harmony. Okay, never too much on one side, never too much on yin, never too much on yang. Now, when you do exercise, you're on the yang. You're creating stress hormone, which is good, That's what you need for survival. Stress hormone is good. Stress hormone is either called cortisol or something else I just forgot. But cortisol is important. Cortisol is a form of steroid. It is there to heal your body. It is there to reduce inflammation in your body. That's what you need when you are under stress. Unfortunately, if your body is under stress 24 hours a day, which is what we do now as modern people. I was thinking back, I'm 67 this year, and when I was a little boy living in Macau, there were electricity, but they were very expensive. And so people use it only when it's necessary. But basically, people get off from work when the sun is setting. They come home. And then when the sun rises, they go back to work. So up until 60 years ago, people were still living according to the sun, as if they're living in the cave, and then they come out from the cave. No longer today, right? We're 24/7. So what happened is that our body is under stress all the time. It is as if someone ring your bell every 5 minutes. I used to do that as a kid, really to annoy my neighbor. Well, but not me, me and my brothers. And so what would you do? You would ignore those. You would just ignore. You say, I'm not going to open the door. The body's like that. And when you have so much stress hormone in your body for so long, consistently, your body just gave up. And this is called cortisol resistance. So the one medicine that you have that is a natural steroid to overcome inflammation is no longer effective. And that's why your body inflames. And when your brain inflames, that's called Alzheimer, right? When your pancreas inflamed, that's called type 2 diabetes. When your blood vessel inflamed, it leads to either stroke or heart attack. All the modern disease is about inflammation, and it's all because we don't know how to go back and forth between the fight or flight and the rest and digest. Okay, so here we're going to learn how to guide and entice the body into rest and digest. Okay, all right, so this is a very important exercise. It's been proven scientifically that by learning how to breathe more with your diaphragm, breathing with your abdomen, your stomach, it actually increases what is called the pulse rate variability. What does that mean? It means that our heart rate actually varies with our breath. When we in breath, the body is more energetic, and the heart rate actually goes up. And when we exhale, the body is relaxed, and then the heart rate goes down. Okay, so in fact, your body is cycling between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and it's reflected on this called the heart rate variability. Okay, now we don't have a way of measuring that, but we do have a way of measuring what's called the resting heart rate. Now you all have one of these, right? Everyone had one of these probably, and it measures a lot of things. My dad when it was at the end, it was very important to measure his oxygen, and so you can do that. But it also measure heart rate. Now I wear an Apple Watch. It does that too, but I thought I'd demonstrate it with this. So right now I'm doing about 74 pulse per minute, which is not too high, but I can bring that down by doing abdominal breathing. Okay, it's the first order approximate of the pulse rate variability, and that actually changes one of the marker in your brain that has been shown to reduce your chance of having your dementia. It's been proven. Okay, now you can even focus on the reading. You can actually bring the reading down by just focusing on it. Okay, but I rather you focus on your breathing. Okay, I rather you focus on the breathing. Now, but before we do that, it's very important that we start with the fundamental. The fundamental is the posture. It turns out that the posture by itself would guide and entice your body and your spirit into the rest and digest. Okay, so how do we do that? This is called the 7 support point sitting posture of the Vajrachara. Vajrachara is the name of a Buddha in what we call the Dharma realm. Okay, but enough of that. It's just dividing your body into 7 parts and paying attention to each part, not only in the beginning, but throughout the sitting. Okay, now we start with the leg. So if you sit like I do, make sure that this is actually touching. This is actually touching the floor, the mat. If not, put some pillows, because what we don't want is we don't want to use any muscle. When you use muscle, you're actually putting stress on your body, and then the body would release stress hormone. Okay, so we want to make sure that this is like the pedestal, the rest of the body is like a bell. Okay, second thing is your hand, just rest it. Don't lift it up, rest it. If you want to do mudra, it's okay, just rest it. Don't use any muscle. Relax your fingers, relax your elbow. That's number 2. Number 3 is the spine. This is actually the most important, because if you don't sit properly, you're putting a lot of stress on your back. And again, it would put you in the fight or flight. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to focus on the top of the head and lift up your body, pushing the top of the head to the ceiling, to the sky. Okay, so now you're stretching your spine, and then you relax. But then you lean back a bit. Okay, lean back. So now hopefully what you're doing now is you're putting the weight of your body, weight of your upper torso on itself, and not using muscle, or use as little as possible. That's number 3. Number 4 is about the shoulder. So we want to open that shoulder. There's 2 energy points here that we keep talking about, called gate to the cloud. Okay, open the shoulder, and then relax the shoulder. So you're not putting any restrictions on your lung and your heart, and you relax, because the top of the shoulder is where the energy line that is associated with your nerve system. We named it after gallbladder. So again, open and then relax. 2 steps. Okay. Now, the only thing remaining is your head, because you're putting a lot of stress on your neck, supporting the weight of your head. So focus on your forehead and bring it back until the ears on top of the shoulder and the back of your neck is touching the collar. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to tuck in a chin. What it does is that it puts the top of the head straight on top of the spine, pointing to the sky. And I'll explain that towards the end of class, why that is important. That has to do with the energy flow. Okay. But what it does also is that it puts a little bit of stress on the 2 sides, the 2 energy points here, that we know scientifically that they're responsible for high blood pressure. When they sense that you don't have enough oxygen into your brain, it increases your blood pressure. So we're going to relax by just lowering your chin. Now I want to relax the forehead, relax between the eyebrow, and then relax the eyelid. This is a good time to think about how the baby sleeps. The baby sleeps, they don't shut the eye, okay? If you see a baby shutting the eye, they're pretending to sleep, okay? So they don't shut the eye, they don't open the eye, they just relax the eyelid. Do the same thing. So you can actually kind of see your eyelashes. You see your hand, your knee, and the floor. And then finally, number 7 is your mouth. Relax the inside, relax the jaw, close your mouth, and then take the tip of the tongue and put it right here, right behind here, which is where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. And then what you notice is that you have a lot more saliva in your mouth. You're actually turning the saliva gland back on by doing that. And this is very important. This is an indication that you are actually in rest and digest. Because the first thing that the fight or flight does is turn off your saliva gland. Now you're ready to meditate. So we want to focus on our breathing, starting with just knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. Oh, one last thing. Very important to put a smile on your face because it relaxes you. When you put a smile on your face, you're no longer consumed with anxiety and anger. That's very important. Put a smile on your face. Lift up your corner of your mouth. How do you do that genuinely? Well, you start with gratitude. Be very grateful to this body. Be very grateful to their health. Be very grateful to your family and your friends. Okay, now back to the breathing. Focus on your breath. One breath at a time. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. That's called knowing. Second step is called anchoring. So now I'm going to anchor onto my belly button. When I know that I'm breathing in, I use my mind as if I'm pushing the belly button forward all the way to the corner of the other side of my house. Your body will follow, so you don't need to actually force yourself to do that. Just use your mind. And when I know that I'm breathing out, I'm using my mind, taking the belly button all the way to the back. The body would follow. So as you breathe in, your stomach opens, diaphragm pushes down. As you breathe out, your stomach collapses, diaphragm pushing up. As you do that, I want you to feel your breathing. As you come down, the breathing becomes longer and longer and longer. As you come down, the space between the in-breath and the space between the in-breath and out-breath and the space between the out-breath and the in-breath become more apparent. You're actually breathing in very slowly. There's a space, and then you're breathing out. Now, very important that when you breathe out, you tell yourself to relax. Always relax on the out-breath. Okay, 5 minutes, all right? So we're going to focus on the breathing, focus on the belly button, and then I'm now 73 pulse rate. 5 minutes, I'll let you know if I could bring it down to 60, okay?